Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going on a journey to the center of the Earth. Yeah, we're going deep. I mean, literally deep, to find the engine that powers our whole world, shaping everything from the mountains we climb to the oceans we sail.
You know, we all walk around on what feels like totally solid ground, right? But what if I told you that thousands of kilometers right under your feet, there's a world of insane heat, crushing pressure, and just raw power? So let's find out what's really going on down there, because it shapes everything up here on the surface.
Okay, so first things first. You've got to forget any idea you have of Earth being just some big, dead ball of rock. No way. It's a dynamic, layered, constantly changing system. It's more alive than you probably think. And to really get how it all works, well, we have to start from the inside and work our way out.
So our journey kicks off deep inside the planet, right at the very engine that drives the whole show.
All right, so think of the Earth like a giant jawbreaker, built in 3 basic layers. We're living on the super thin outer shell, the crust. It's surprisingly brittle. The part under the continents is made of lighter stuff. Geologists have a neat little acronym for it, SEAL, which stands for silica and alumina. But the crust under the oceans? That's a bit denser, and they call that SEMA, for silica and magnesium. Okay, so you drill down past that, and you hit the mantle. And this thing is massive. It's this thick layer of rock that's kind of solid, kind of liquid. It flows, but like super thick honey, over millions of years. And then, right at the center of it all, you've got the core. This is where all the heavy stuff sunk to, mainly nickel and iron, or knife as the rockhounds call it.
Okay, but here's where it gets really wild. The core isn't just one thing, it's 2 completely different parts. The outer core? It's a swirling, churning ocean of liquid metal. It's so hot, it flows like water. And this movement, this churning, is so important. Why? Because it's what generates the Earth's magnetic field. That's our planet's invisible force field, the shield that protects us all from nasty solar radiation. But then, and get this, you go even deeper, and the pressure gets so unbelievably intense that it actually squeezes that super hot metal back into a solid. Just let that sink in. Our planet has a solid ball of metal floating inside a sea of liquid metal. How cool is that?
Now, that crazy powerful engine down in the core, it doesn't just hang out by itself. All that energy has to go somewhere, and it radiates outwards, causing huge changes right up here where we live. Which brings us to our next big idea, this restless, constantly shifting surface.
And this, right here, is the core idea behind plate tectonics. See, the Earth's crust isn't one solid piece at all. It's actually broken up into these gigantic plates. And they're basically floating on top of that gooey mantle we just talked about. They're always on the move, constantly crashing into each other, pulling apart, or grinding past one another. It's like a slow-motion demolition derby that's been running for billions of years.
And this really shows you the long, slow dance of the continents. If you could rewind time, say 225 million years ago, you'd see all the continents we know today just smushed together. They formed one massive supercontinent called Pangaea, all sitting in one giant global ocean. But then, around 200 million years ago, it started to crack. It split into 2 big pieces first, Laurasia and Gondwanaland. And from there, inch by painful inch, they just kept drifting apart for hundreds of millions of years, eventually settling into the world map we all recognize today.
So, you might be asking, how do we know all this for sure? Well, the clues are everywhere, literally written in the rocks and the fossils. I mean, there's the super obvious one, the jigsaw puzzle fit. Just look at how the coast of Africa snuggles right up against South America. But the proof goes way deeper. Geologists have found ancient rock formations and even gold deposits in Ghana that are a perfect match for ones over in Brazil. And maybe the coolest clue of all? They found fossils of the exact same little freshwater reptile, the Mesosaurus, in both South Africa and Brazil. There's no way it could have swum across the Atlantic. The only explanation is that those 2 places used to be connected.
Okay, so the continents are moving. Got it. But what gives them their shape? What carves the mountains and valleys? Well, it turns out there's this constant battle of forces going on, sculpting our world every single day. I want you to picture a planet-sized tug of war. In one corner, you've got the endogenic forces,
Endo means within, so these forces come from the heat inside the Earth. These are the builders. They're the ones pushing up huge mountain ranges, creating fiery volcanoes and shaking the ground with earthquakes. And in the other corner, you've got the exogenic forces. Exo means outside. These are driven by energy from the sun. And these guys, they're the wrecking crew. Their entire job is to tear everything down through weathering and erosion.
So what kind of tools does this wrecking crew use? Well, think about a powerful river, just relentlessly carving a canyon through rock, day after day for millennia. Or the constant wind, scouring away at desert cliffs, creating these impossible, beautiful shapes. Think about massive glaciers, basically giant sheets of cosmic sandpaper, grinding entire mountains down to nothing. And of course, the endless pounding rhythm of ocean waves, constantly reshaping every coastline on the planet. The thing is, these forces, they never stop.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got a hot, powerful engine on the inside. We've got continents moving around on the outside. And we've got this epic war between forces that build things up and forces that tear them down. So, how does all of that chaos come together to create a planet where life can actually exist?
Well, the magic, it all happens in a place called the biosphere. And it's not really a separate layer like the crust or the mantle. It's more like a special zone, a really precious one. It's where the solid ground, the lithosphere, the water, the hydrosphere, and the air, the atmosphere, all meet up and interact. It's this incredibly thin, fragile little slice of our planet, and it's the only place where the conditions are just perfect for life to take hold.
And a massive part of that life support system is, of course, the atmosphere. Now, what do you think is the main gas in the air we breathe? Most people would say oxygen, right? And yeah, oxygen is super important. It makes up about 21% of the air. But here's the kicker. The vast majority, a whopping 78%, is actually nitrogen. We don't breathe it, not directly, but without it, life couldn't exist. It's absolutely essential for plant growth, and plants, as we know, are the foundation of pretty much every food chain.
So what happens when you get this perfect mix of land, water, and air all working together? You get an explosion of life. I want you to try and guess how much living stuff, biomass they call it, the biosphere produces every year. The number is 170 billion tons. Just try to wrap your head around that. That is an absolutely staggering amount. It's a testament to the incredible, unbelievable productivity of our planet when all its systems are working in harmony.
Which brings us to the final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle. With all this ancient, powerful machinery at work, where do we fit in? You see, for millions of years, the Earth's systems have run the show. They've shaped the course of all life, including us. The rise and fall of mountains, the drift of continents, the shifts in climate. All these things have written the story of humanity. But now, for the first time in our planet's 4.5 billion year history, one single species, us, is powerful enough to start changing those systems back. So the real question we have to ask ourselves isn't just about the mark we'll leave behind. It's about what kind of world we are actively creating right now on this living, breathing, dynamic planet.